When I was at Epic HQ, the amazing jungler, that is Baby Spine, amongst other things, absolutely completely destroyed me single-handedly with Crunch and Stinger Boost. We got to play on a pre-release 38.3. There is a lot of other things that I can't talk about, but this card in itself completely destroyed me. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a Paragon Guide. I am Sylphin, wearing... Dun-da-da! Yeah. Love it. I did it in my other video. Don't care. It's a really cool shirt. I love it. So guys, Stinger Boost. It's looking like a really big card here in 38.3, and we're going to see what the math says. So guys, Stinger Boost. Taking a look at the overview of the card. It's a 6 CP universal card. Everybody can use it for only 6 CP. Now the stats on it are 2 CP's worth of attack speed and 2 CP worth of mana. Now 2 and 2 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2 CP, therefore is left as a cost to you for the passive. So the passive is 2 CP's worth. Now, what is that passive? After ability hit on a hero, your next basic attack deals 50 plus 20% of your power bonus damage every 1.5 seconds. So if you hit an enemy hero every 1.5 seconds with an ability, your next basic attack deals 50 plus 20% of your power. Now, your opportunity cost is 1 CP. Every card gives you a fully upgraded bonus besides some of these passive inactives. So because you are missing out on that fully upgraded bonus, there is an opportunity cost of 1 CP, which the value is of that upgraded bonus. The final cost, therefore, for that passive, because you're getting 2 CP of attack speed, 2 CP of mana, that opportunity cost moves to the passive, and you're paying 3 CP for that passive. Now, the value of that passive, we're trying to determine if it's actually worth that 3 CP. We're going to have to see if, you pay 3 for the passive, we're going to have to see if that is indeed, if you get your money back. So, some statements to define the context in which Stinger Boost exists. Now, statement 1. The passive does not add onto your basic damage. It doesn't add onto your basic damage amount. It's kind of like Sparrow's passive, which is another damage finger alongside your attack. So there's like your attack for 150, say, and then there's also this damage. It's not like added into your basic attack damage so it becomes more. It's two separate things. So basically it can't crit. It cannot crit, which is unfortunate because then you could get 2.5 times the value, but still, that would make it even more overpowered. Statement number 2. We will assume Stinger Boost to be utilized 100% of the time, used every 1.5 seconds, just to really make the math easy, and then we will debate as to this possibility and reality of this happening afterwards. So, just to make sure the math, we're gonna see if, what is the maximum potential of this card, because in some cases it is your skill, it is your level of skill that's going to define its possibility, but sometimes it's the hero. You just don't have an ability every 1.5 seconds, so it's going to, kind of. I'm sure you get what I mean. Statement number 3, we will not be calculating the worth it point. At what point is it worth it? How much power do you need for it to be worth it, etc. We are going to assume that if you are using this card, you have a good amount of damage, or in other words, you're not building a tank. So, I think that's fair. You're getting this card because you want to increase your damage. Because you're going damage. Right? If you're going to tank, become a tank. A situational card like this, we're just going to assume that you're going we're not going to calculate the worth it point, so you're so that you want to barely scrape by that worth it point as you're building your tank. We're not going to do that, as I think You should be going for a damage build, or at least a high damage bruiser build, something like that, and you're getting this to increase your damage. Now, the analysis. This might look a little odd, but stick with me. Stick with me. We'll explain. Now, here are the heroes that I am going to consider here as using Stinger Boost. Crunch and Countess and Shinbi are kind of the three that really come to mind, especially Shinbi, not necessarily Countess. I would put Crunch for sure, Shinbi absolutely, then Countess, Iggy and Scorch, and then our fighters, and then an example of a ranger. Probably the ranger that could use it the most is Twin Blast. So we have Grux, Chimera, Severa, Greystone, Kalari as an assassin, Kwang as an assassin as well, and Fang Mao. So those are our fighters, and we're going to see if it's worth it on them as well. And then Twin Blast as an example of one of the carries that could use it the most. Serath, she probably actually could get away with it as well, but you'll see. Now, total CP, this is the total CP going into a basic attack build. This is, if you're going for a basic attack build with power, attack speed, crit chance, etc. This is the total CP you are putting into that build, or putting into my DPS calculator and optimizer. That's a total CP, not including the crit bonus. So this 3 CP DPS is how much more DPS will you get in increasing this total CP. So whether this 3 CP, according to the math, goes into power or is split evenly between power, whatever that is, whatever the optimal way to put 3 CP on top of this is, you're doing it. And then I went down and wrote how much DPS increase that 3 CP is, because we are choosing to, the cost for this passive is 3 CP. We have to compare it with 3 CP's worth of DPS increase on a basic attack build. Hopefully that makes sense. How much power is in this build then? I went and wrote that down. Again, this is according to the math, according to what is correct in the math, according to my DPS calculator and optimizer. This is how much power, therefore, is in that build. We need to know that because Stinger Boost is based on how much power you have. Then we calculate the bonus to your basic attack that Stinger Boost grants. So what is that bonus? 50 plus 20% of however much power you have. What is that bonus onto your next basic attack? We can see it's 69 on Crunch, 68 on Grux, Chimera, Greystone, Kalari, blah, 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 blah. How much power is that on your next basic attack? Then I converted that into DPS in order to compare it to the DPS increase that you would have gone in if you chose to increase your basic attack damage instead of go for Stinger Boost. And as you can see there, this profit DPS is me going the Stinger Boost DPS versus minus the 3 CP DPS on on your basic attack build, if you're choosing to go for that instead of Stinger Boost. And we can see here the profit is arguably marginal. 8 on Crunch, 9, 10, 13, 6, 0 for Kalari. It doesn't increase her DPS, you're just transferring when that damage is applied. And Kwang and Feng Mao. Twin Blast, it hurts him. Yes, it is marginal. Yes, it is marginal, and it arguably would improve your kind of burst. Kind of. Only after your grenades. So not really a boost, a burst boost at all. So Twin Blast, it just hurts him. So as you can see, it's kind of marginal. Now you can see here that Countess, Shinbi, and Iggy and Scorch here are stroked, or have a strike through them, and whether this is possible. So this is me saying, is this actually possible on these heroes or not, is a no, because as casters you don't do a basic attack build, so this is kind of completely irrelevant for them. That's why their numbers are struck through. Now Crunch, this is absolutely possible for Crunch. You can weave in those basic attacks, and in fact, you're supposed to weave in those abilities and those basic attacks. So this is absolutely possible, but the DPS increase is marginal. It's not worth the situational nature of this is just not worth it. So that's me. I put a big blanket statement of sort of across Grux, Chimera, Severa, Greystone, Kalari, Kwang, and Feng Mao. Just because Grux, sort of. A bleed, hit. 1.5 seconds later, smash and grab, hit, hit. Ultimate, hit. Sort of. Because if you need to use your ultimate, because the Gideon is going to teleport away. If you need to use it, well, you're just going to use it. You're not going to be like, well, I need to wait for my stinger boost. No, you're just going to use it. So it's very situational on Grux. Chimera, sort of. His Q doesn't count as an ability. So the only other abilities for Chimera is his ultimate and his ambush. Well, if you're going to ambush onto somebody, yes, that works. But then you have to wait 5 seconds later. So that's kind of, you're wasting 2 potential times for stinger boost to work, right? At the 3 and the 4.5 second mark, you're missing that. So that's not great. You could ultimate in there, but then you can't ultimate for another minute, So sort of on Chimera. Severog is more sort of, because your Sylphin is fairly quick. Your Sylphin's fairly quick, and you have your root, and your charge through people doesn't deal damage, so unfortunately that doesn't proc it. Your ultimate does, but then you hit them away. So how likely are you going to be able to catch back up to them to hit them again, right? So sort of, more sort of than Chimera. Severog could get away with it for sure, but again, depends. Greystone, he could use it his make way, but then again, once you use your make way, well then you're done, right? You have your leap, sure, but again, that you use that once and then you're done. You have your ultimate, but then that's only once and then you're done. So it's kind of like, eh. Kalari is kind of the most, just because your Shadow Stalk doesn't count as an ability, because it's just an improvement of your basic attack. Your dagger does, but then that's a one-time use and that's it. Your ultimate does count, so you could ultimate, but then even then, I think your ultimate is, well, no, the vision does actually count as an ability hit, so that would proc it. Other than that, unfortunately, Kalari is a two-time use, and that's it. Is that worth it, especially when it doesn't when it doesn't improve your DPS? No, I don't think so. Kwang, again, the sword, that would work. Sword, root them, get body block them, hit them, use your Light of the Heavens, hit them again, right? Use their ultimate, they're slowed, hit them again. There's potential there for Kwang, and definitely just for Feng Mao. Kwang and Feng Mao definitely very similar in their kits and stuff. Feng Mao definitely could use it as well. And Twin Blast, yes, he can use it. He has great grenade. 1.5 seconds later, grenade. 1.5 seconds later, grenade. Perfect, wonderful, but it hurts his DPS. So there's that explanation of a basic attack build and the potential for these heroes to actually use Stinger Boost, at least according to me. Now, we have another situation here though. A caster build. A caster or a burst build. If you're going for a burst damage build on any hero, you just put a lot of power so you can offload all that damage onto your abilities and the first few hits that you're going to get in with your basic attack on a hero. So it's a caster / a burst build with these heroes. So again, we have CP's worth of power. I've gone and, on a crunch, it's quite easy. On a caster build, you're going to pretty much get at least 30 CP of power on a caster build or up. Plus, some ability pen in there, some health, especially on some of these frontline heroes. So I went in and, again, was kind of put in what I thought was CP's worth of power for these heroes. Not sure. I don't remember putting 56 on Kalari. That seems awfully high. You just change that right now to 50. It doesn't change much anyways. So there you go, guys. Doesn't change much anyways if you're off by even 10 there or 6. So again, CP of power for a lot of these. You can Scorch a little bit less because definitely need some health. Sevarog, I put only 24 because, well, you're Sevarog, man. You gotta put some tank in there. You're definitely a bruiser. Damage Sevarog. Nope. Greystone, he can definitely go good bruiser at this point and stuff like that. So it's the CP of power that then goes into the Stinger Boost bonus, which as you can see is actually pretty damn good. 100. Almost 196, 79 for Sevarog, even though that's actually pretty good. 96 here for Greystone. Kalari is 110. So that's a pretty good boost every 1.5 seconds. Again, if you can use Stinger Boost every 1.5 seconds. And then their DPS is much more, 50% more than the basic attack build here, if you want to look at it in the DPS way. And then Profit DPS is kind of hard to say because it's greater than 26. Because it's going to be somewhere between the DPS boost of this in the basic attacks build, because that gives you the most DPS for power. It's going to be somewhere between that and this. So again, whether that's more close to this DPS, I don't know. I'm not going to do that math to figure out the burst potential of all their abilities, combine that, run a DPS number. I'm not going to do that. So we know that it's somewhere between this and this being the Prophet. And you know what? I would definitely say it's more along this, simply because they're not getting attack speed, and more importantly, not getting crit. So it's probably very close to this. And you know what? That is a significant amount. That is a significant amount, especially on a crunch. 100 more damage every 1.5 seconds. You can definitely use it. That is significant. That is significant. Absolutely. Countess, Shadow Stalk, or Blink. Blink onto them. Hit him with a basic attack. 1.5 seconds later, Blade Siphon. If you can last that long in an engagement, hit him with a basic attack, because you're basic attacking anyways, into your ultimate. Basic attack them into a Dark Tide. Like, she has the possibility to use this absolutely, as long as you can sustain in the front line to get that every 1.5 seconds. She can definitely do that. Shinbi, absolutely, especially with Asha the Witch to slow them so she can stay on them. Absolutely, Shinbi. She's freaking perfect. She's perfect for Stinger Boost. She can absolutely 100 damage every 1.5 seconds. Ugh. Iggy and Scorch. Look at that. If his turrets proc, that is a consideration. So anyways, yes for all of these. Maybe for Grux. Yes for Chimera. Yes for Sevarog. No for Greystone. I don't think it would be worth it on Greystone. Maybe for Kalari if you alt and then your dagger and stuff like that. Kwang, I would say yes for Kwang. Actually, now that I think about it, Feng Mao. Yes, as well. If Kwang is Feng Mao, if Kwang is yes, Feng Mao is yes as well. And no, Twin Blast is just not. You're not going to do a caster build on a Twin Blast. At least I hope you wouldn't. So enough talking about all of that. Let's get to some conclusions here. Stinger Boost is almost always a DPS increase. However, it's marginal for basic attack builds. What you're doing, if you are going to run it on a basic attack build, you are offloading the damage, the sustained damage, onto the burst. So you're just going to be a little bit more upfront damage. After you use your abilities, Stinger Boost isn't going to be helping you. So as long as you're using your abilities, the abilities that you have on your hero, it's going to increase your damage, going to increase your DPS. It's just going to offload it to the front. And in some people, it's not going to do anything for them. And Twin Blast, it's going to hurt you. On a carry, it's going to hurt you. Stinger Boost is always a DPS increase, though, for caster / high power builds, burst builds, etc. Its viability, though, depends on hero ability usage. So, Grux, maybe. Greystone, I don't think so. If his make way if you can really use make way to great potential and make way continuously procs Stinger Boost. I don't know if it does. Then maybe. Okay, fine. Maybe for Greystone, Clarite maybe again. So it depends on your hero ability usage. If you can utilize every 1.5 seconds or just as much as possible. Stinger Boost is a solid addition to a caster or burst build. Again, caster for these guys or a burst build for the fighters. 93 to 117 damage every 1.5 seconds. It's pretty significant, man. It's pretty significant. If you're hitting for 150 already or 200, like that's 300, like that's another, like that's significant. That is definitely significant. That would definitely scare me and be like, whoa, what is this crunch? This crunch hurts. This count just shouldn't be here. It's like, that is quite significant. Stinger Boost, in my opinion, guys, in my opinion, is a must-have for Crunch, Shinbi, and Countess, arguably, if you know, if the team comp is there to support you being on the front line for a while. Iggy and Scorch's turrets, if they continuously proc Stinger Boost, if they continually proc Stinger Boost, which they continually proc Ash of the Witch, so I would hope that then Stinger Boost would also proc, then definitely for Iggy and Scorch. Definitely for Iggy and Scorch, hands down. Because that's just free damage, it's super easy to get. You don't even have to land the ability, they just gotta be in your turrets. Like, holy crap. Absolutely. Fighters, though, will depend on your playstyle, you know, and the team comp. If you're able to just stay if you're able to stay on the front line for increments of 1.5 seconds at a time, great. But if you're there for 2 seconds and then you have to peace out, well, like an assassin, that's why I'm not recommending it for very many assassins. Well, okay, I think they're all here. I think they're all here, but as you can see, Kalari not really. Kwang, yeah, they can use it. So there you guys go. That is this is my look into Stinger Boost. It's maybe not as concrete of a decision as maybe I would like for these 4 heroes. I think they're absolutely a must-have on Crunch, must-have on Shinbi. Countess, Iggy, and Scorch really depends. Iggy and Scorch definitely is a must-have more so than Countess. Countess is right close after Iggy and Scorch, and then the rest really depends on your playstyle, on your team comp, on the build, etc., etc. There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me know down in the comments what you guys think of Stinger Boost. Is there anything that I have missed? Is there anything that I'm completely wrong about? Is there any perspectives that I'm forgetting? Is there anything I'm just kind of right over my head? Please let me know down in the comments and let me know what you guys think of this analysis. Please like this video if you like it, dislike it if you disliked it, share it with the community. Please, 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 as you know, this is really important stuff, and I think I bring something unique, hopefully correct. So please share it with the community, and of course, guys, subscribe. If you guys like this content, especially if you found it useful, I would love to be able to help you out in the future. So please subscribe. Till next time, like always, stay optimistic and positive.